Unpopular opinion, all hobbies are not equal. Certain kinds of hobbies deserve to be held in higher regard than others. Playing a sport, learning an instrument, singing, dancing, painting, writing, these are activities that require time and years of effort to become good at. They're admirable not just because they're cool, but because there is something deeply attractive about a person who has dedicated so much time to mastering a hard skill that executing it now feels relaxing to them. Lately, there's been a growing push online to classify things like watching movies, playing video games, watching sports, or listening to podcasts in the same category as these kinds of hobbies. They aren't. They are based on consumption, not creation. That doesn't mean consumption-based activities are bad or useless. Everyone needs ways to relax and unwind. There's nothing wrong with enjoying a good show, a game, or a YouTube binge after a long day. But if that's all there is to your personality, then you are, unfortunately, a boring person. Edit, I've wrongly added video games to the list of other passive activities. While some video games are like that, I agree that many require a lot of skill. It's an unpopular opinion, so I gave you my upvote. However, I think you're thinking of hobbies in the wrong way. Hobbies are something we do for our own joy, or to relax in our downtime, and taking years to learn that hobby or worrying about how others view that particular hobby is a bit of a silly argument to be made because those aren't the reason people have hobbies. Also, I think you're conflating hobbies with passions, but this would also be a silly argument to make as obviously people that are passionate about a particular subject don't tend to care what others think. They do it because they have a passion for what they do. I see that you haven't mentioned reading in either category. Would you put it in the lazy category as it's consumption-based and not creation? I love to make origami, but I'm not an origami expert where I create my own designs. Technically, it's also just consumption of original designs and replicating it or making slight differences. Where would this fall into? Sport? Instruments? How many of them are creating original content/techniques rather than mimicking, learning and practicing what others have done so far? So I guess this comes from a primitive ideology of what a hobby is with a hint of gatekeeping.